Yeah, lithium's, a pretty special commodity, but, it has this enormous growth rate because of EV penetration, which last year was at record levels, 11 million EVs produced. We're looking at a slower growth rate this year, but still 3.5 million more electric vehicles being produced globally than were last year. So we've still, despite the downturn in the global economy, we've still got this very large growth in the automotive sector. So fundamentally for lithium, things look good. But of course, with a bit of thrifting and a shift to LFP batteries, lithium, the growth may not be quite as great. And we do have a large burgeoning supply on the lithium side. And we've been forecasting a surplus in lithium chemicals for some time, at least in the short term, before the energy transition pushes the metal into structural deficits again. But Chile is an important source of extra lithium. And so we know that water being such a huge issue, and the issues around brine supply in the Atacama. So, So I think it's totally reasonable that people will point to supply as being the largest driver of price rises in battery raw materials as well.
Really quickly, because we're obviously expecting some form of significant macroeconomic downturn. Perhaps it's not going to be as significant as some are suggesting, but in terms of that then giving time for some catch-up, do you expect that a lot of these mining companies, because we're talking about deficits, we're talking about a lack or a dearth of supply being available, especially forecasting out for the next couple of years, do you think that this is perhaps a 1 or 2 year window that a lot of supply can be brought online in expectation of a big surge of demand coming through following on from that companies should be taking stock and investing now to ensure that we do have the supply moving forward?
Well, in a perfect world, they should be. Of course, because, we're staring down the barrel of massive structural deficits. And in fact, the energy transition obviously relies on the supply of metals. It's a critical element of allowing the energy transition to occur. So there's real concern. But the problem is we're asking companies to invest into an economy that is slowing down. We're on the wrong end of an interest rate cycle. The property sector, which is so important to so many of mined commodities, is struggling very much. China's a positive once things start going again in 2023. Sure. It takes a very brave CEO to start pushing capital into markets where there's so much uncertainty.